Fox 49 investigated, and we got you answers. The new details surrounding that lawsuit from Tallahassee Memorial Hospital to a patient they say refused to leave. Major decisions are set to be made by the Leon County School District.
It's no secret. I mean, I disagree with all of it. I think we didn't do our job.
The tough choices that are being discussed and the reaction behind it. And an FSU football player has been arrested while on spring break. The charges he's facing and what the Seminoles have to say.
This is your Fox 49 News at 10.
Good evening. Tonight we have new details in a lawsuit filed by Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare against a now former patient who has refused to leave the facility for months. Fox 49's Courtney Dualaby has been combing through the court records.
Melanie, this week, court documents filed by Tallahassee Memorial Healthcare show the case is ending. This is the notice to voluntarily dismiss the case against the woman who was officially discharged from the hospital 5 months ago. The lawsuit, filed at the beginning of the month, says the woman was discharged on October 6, 2025. But she refused to leave and has stayed in room 373. Court documents allege multiple attempts were made, including coordination with family members to safely discharge the woman from the facility. In November, a written notice from the hospital was provided, letting the woman know legal action could be possible. The hospital even requesting assistance from the Leon County Sheriff's Office. Court records indicate hearings were set for the end of the month, but canceled this week when this document was filed, requesting the case be closed with prejudice, meaning it cannot be filed again. Fox 49 News reached out to the attorney for the hospital in this case. We were told no comment would be made at this time, only confirming the case is now closed. In Tallahassee, I'm Courtney Dualaby, your Fox 49 News.
And as for the woman in this case, there's still no word on if she's at the hospital or if she's left by now. Next week, the Leon County School Board is set to vote on millions of dollars in budget cuts, decisions that could impact staffing programs and the future direction of the district. Fox 49's Jayla Howard spoke with school leaders about what's on the table and what's coming next.
With a $6.8 million budget gap, Leon County school leaders face some tough decisions, not easy ones, but necessary ones. Superintendent Rocky Hanna laid out a plan earlier this year to close the budget gap, pointing to rising costs and no new help from the state.
Unfortunately, because of the lack of funding from the Florida legislature, we're having to make some really tough decisions that will have impacts not only on operations at the district level, but through schools and schools throughout the district.
His plan includes reduced staffing across schools and scaling back programs added during the pandemic, like social workers and interventionists, and funding for arts and athletics. But not everyone agrees with that approach.
It's no secret. I mean, I disagree with all of it. I think we didn't do our job.
School board member Alva Smith instead favors a broader look at declining enrollment and underused school buildings, possibly even considering consolidation.
The answer was to look more at our enrollment trends around the district, that we have over 5,000 empty student stations that we're dealing with. We've got to respond to, acknowledge, and move forward in a way that's fiscally responsive and that's best for our teachers and students.
Smith says she expects the board to move forward with the superintendent's plan when they vote, despite her concerns. She says if there's one thing she hopes to protect, it's support staff inside schools.
I hope that we can say, do what you need to do, but don't cut the social workers. They are dealing with situations that are truly, life and death, homeless.
And while these cuts are expected to pass, Smith says the bigger conversation about the long-term future of the district is far from over. In Tallahassee, Jayla Howard, your Fox 49 News.
And the school board is set to vote on Tuesday night. Any approved changes would take effect starting next school year. A Florida State football player is out on bail tonight after being arrested on spring break in Fort Lauderdale. Police say the arrest didn't go well, resulting in additional charges. Fox 49's James Hill joining us live in the newsroom now. And James, tell us what happened with this football player, Connor.
Melanie, in January, Connor McEnany went through the transfer portal to become the kicker of the Florida State University Seminoles football team. After his arrest, the former Quincy University Hawk is off the Noles football team. This is Connor McEnany's mugshot from the Broward County Sheriff's Office. According to authorities, Connor McEnany was arrested on a trespassing charge, and when he put up a fight with first responders on Fort Lauderdale Beach, he now faces 3 counts. Charges include battery of an officer with the Fort Lauderdale Police Department, resisting an officer, and trespassing. We understand Connor McEnany was booked and taken to the Broward County Jail. His bond was set at $2,750 for 3 counts, and the jail website indicates he has bonded out. The Florida State University Athletics Department issued a statement this afternoon saying, quote, Connor McEnany has been suspended indefinitely from all team activities, end quote. While some may take issue with his behavior toward officers of the law, others point out this has all the makings of typical spring break behavior, something Fort Lauderdale officers have no doubt seen countless times before.
Depending on the severity of the case, it might be justified. I'd say the kicker also has to think about that kind of stuff when he's making the decisions that he's making. But if it is a forgivable offense, then I think the proper, punishment be put in place and maybe get another shot depending on the severity of things.
I stopped by Connor McEnany's local address in Tallahassee, but the apartments were quiet and nobody answered the door. The Seminoles will return to spring football practice next week without Connor McEnany. Live in the newsroom, I'm James Hill with your Fox 49 News.
Do you recognize these individuals? Take a look at your screen. The Wakulla County Sheriff's Office says these 4 people are wanted for questioning in connection to a recent theft at the Walmart in Crawfordville. The Sheriff's Office tells us retail theft is on the rise and population growth in the area may be why.
Retail theft at Walmart and other locations, specifically Walmart being the largest retailer in Wakulla County. But we do have other locations where we see it as well, Dollar Generals and different places as well. But we definitely see an uptick lately, and partially maybe because of the growth.
If you have any information or know any of these individuals, please contact the Wakulla County Sheriff's Office. That number is listed at the bottom of your screen. There's some new help on the way for those affected by domestic violence. A proposed expansion of domestic violence shelters in Leon County could add 20 beds or more for those who need them. But those involved in this project say the need is far greater than those 20 beds can accommodate. As Fox 49's Nick Carmia reports, advocates say the need across the Panhandle keeps growing and resources are getting stretched increasingly thin.
Right now, this building sits empty, but it could soon house domestic violence survivors, adding about 20 beds in a region where advocates say space is limited.
For many survivors, leaving an abusive situation is only the first step.
We might have mom here today, and 10 years from now, her daughter's back in our shelter with her child.
In Leon County, there are just 23 emergency shelter beds, and more than 60% of people in Refuge House's residential programs are children. In the Big Bend, only Taylor County has its own shelter with 14 beds.
There's always people we're having to, unfortunately, say, we don't have a bed space for you, I'm sorry.
When there's no space available, law enforcement says the same calls can keep coming back.
Unless there's some intervention that takes place through the refuge house or through the court system, that we're going to respond to that location over and over and over again.
To help close that gap, Refuge House proposes the Dawn of Hope Center, adding 20 beds and expanding longer-term support services. To build it, the nonprofit needs nearly $1 million from the state. Deputies say that money would be well spent because without stable housing, that cycle can continue.
The number of women and children being attacked in our community is growing exponentially.
Now, the future of this project depends on state funding as advocates work to keep up with the demand across the region. In Tallahassee, Nick Carmia, your Fox 49 News.
Mitchell says this is just the first phase of the project, with plans to add dozens more beds if additional funding is secured. Billionaire Mark Cuban is now taking on Big Pharma. Why he says he's putting his own money on the line to tackle the prescription drug industry in tonight's Spotlight on America. Coming up.
Chilly to start out your Friday morning, but temperatures warming up nicely, especially heading into the weekend. Taking a look at that coming up.
You're watching your Fox 49 News at 10 with Melanie Levy and meteorologist Alan Strom.
The United States is reliant on foreign countries to make our drugs, leaving many medicine unchecked and potentially unsafe. But there is growing momentum to change that, like in Dallas, Texas, where Mark Cuban wants to overhaul an unaffordable and potentially unsafe system that is putting American patients at risk. Here's Lisa Fletcher with the story.
Billionaire Mark Cuban made his name in tech and sports. Now he's betting on something less glamorous, generic drugs.
These are the tractor trailers where we've modularized manufacturing.
Not because it's easy. And not because it's wildly profitable, but because he believes the system Americans rely on for medicine has become too opaque, too distorted, and too comfortable with the cheapest possible answer.
Well, it's a mess. There's no transparency. There's no trust. People don't understand how it worked.
So, Cuban built Cost Plus Drugs, a company designed to strip out middlemen, show customers the actual price, and increasingly make more medicine here in America.
We manufacture generic sterile injectables right now, right down the street. And we've got the ability to be able to manufacture generic tablets.
Cuban's manufacturing facility is a stark contrast to what our years-long investigations into Indian drug-making plants revealed. Companies falsifying data, filthy conditions, adulterated drugs, and medications with too much or too little of the active ingredient. Cuban's top complaint? The economics of the healthcare system, largely driven by middlemen known as pharmacy benefit managers, who decide which drugs your insurance will cover and what you pay for them.
They're talking about companies that have so much power, they get to dictate what medications are available, where those medications are made, and how much they're paid for.
I realize in business it's called leverage, but it really feels like economic blackmail.
Oh, it is. Doesn't feel like it, it is, right? You nailed it.
And there's a cost to people getting bad drugs.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? People die.
In fact, a recent study found generic drugs made in India were associated with a 54% higher rate of severe adverse events, including death.
Quality is first and foremost. If it doesn't work, you're not going to get any healthier.
Cuban says America can make more of its own medicine safely and at scale if Washington stops rewarding a race to the bottom.
It's not the cost of manufacturing that's the problem. It's the cost of the paperwork.
FDA regulatory fees of $365,000 per drug.
So for us to make 1,000 generic medications here in Dallas, Texas, would cost $365 million, which destroys the economics. We're not saying build this manufacturing plant for us. We've got it all down. I've spent hundreds of millions of dollars and then some to be able to do all this stuff. So all we're asking is just make it so it's cost effective for us to manufacture without the government making that impossible.
Something FDA Commissioner Marty McCary says is on his priority list. Dr. McCary told me that he is working to make it less onerous, deal with some of those regulatory hurdles, some of those costs. Have you seen any evidence in that direction?
Not yet, but it's relatively new for us. We talked to the FDA and told them we haven't really got a big response.
So while waiting for action from Washington, Cuban is taking on the industry Goliaths he says got us here.
Oh, I'm here to them up.
For Spotlight on America, I'm Lisa Fletcher.
First warning weather.
Well, as we've lost that heating from the sun, temperatures are starting to cool down out there after it shaped up to be a pretty warm afternoon across the area. Right now we're seeing upper 50s, some spots still hanging on to some 60s out there, but as we go into the overnight hours, we will continue to see those temperatures drop. But our radar continues to show that nice, dry, clear weather that we've been left with really all week long. It has been a chilly start to the week, but high pressure continuing to build and settle in will help those temperatures to moderate as we go into the end of our week and through the weekend. Before tonight, it will be another chilly start to your Friday morning. Temperatures will be dipping down into the 30s and 40s. That's how we'll be starting things out first thing in the morning, but continuing to see those clear and sunny conditions. But there's a look at what you can expect those temperatures to feel like when you step out the door first thing tomorrow. Low 40s to upper 30s, just kind of depending on where you are first thing. Then as we go into the afternoon, those temperatures will be warming up very nicely in those upper 70s, so even warmer than we were today, and that continues even as we transition into the weekend. And that sunny and dry weather not going anywhere anytime soon. So as we look ahead to round out our week and head into the weekend, we're looking at low and middle 80s Saturday and Sunday. Sunny and dry conditions will be sticking with us. So it looks like a great weekend to be outside, hit the beach. Anyone on spring break looking much warmer and much nicer to maybe in that, since it has been so cold to start things out. So as we fast forward through our future cast, really nothing to see here, not a whole lot of change as we head into Friday afternoon as well as Saturday. Really not even seeing any clouds coming up on the map, so plenty of sunshine on tap over the next several days and even into next week. Really not looking at a whole lot of change as far as our weather pattern goes, but that warming trend does continue as we look ahead to tomorrow. Upper 70s making way for low 80s Saturday, middle 80s on Sunday. Into next week, staying in the 80s. We do have a front that'll move through on Monday. That'll be a dry front, but that will bring a little bit of a cool down and any relief in humidity that tries to rebound. But overall, those humidity values will be staying low, as well as making those upper 70s and low 80s feel quite nice.
The Werner Hyundai Tallahassee 500 is back and bigger than ever. Rebates up to $15,000. Rates as low as 0%. No payments for up to 6 months. Werner Hyundai is the #1 volume Hyundai dealer in Tallahassee year after year. Drive the brand new Hyundai Elantra for $219 a month or Tucson for $289 a month. Nobody beats a Werner Hyundai deal. Nobody. It's the Werner Hyundai Tallahassee 500. Come visit us at wernerhyundai.com.
Sinclair and DAV Disabled American Veterans hope you'll join us for Sinclair Cares DAV Community Impact Day. We're saying thank you for your service to American veterans through action. Scan the QR code on your screen to learn about volunteer opportunities or how to make a donation. St. Clair is kickstarting the campaign with a $25,000 donation to DAV. The nonprofit provides a lifetime of support for veterans of all generations. A festival that gives back to local volunteer firefighters. The details behind this weekend's Woodville Founders Day coming up next. A festival that celebrates the rich history of the Woodville community. The 14th annual Woodville Founders Day is back. The event goes to support the Woodville Volunteer Fire Department. Attendees can expect live performances, food trucks, and cultural demonstrations. The family-friendly event will be held this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at J. Lewis Hall Senior Woodville Park, and everyone is welcome to attend. The Leon County Sheriff's Office needs your help bringing home a statewide accomplishment. Meet Rex. Look at that little guy. Rex is representing the Sheriff's Office in the annual Florida Sheriff's Association K-9 March Madness Tournament. If you want to help Rex get that Top Dog Award, all you have to do is vote. Go to our website, fox49.tv, and click on this story, and there you'll find the link to vote for little Rex. Voting ends Monday at 7 p.m. We'll be right back. Stick with us.
As we head into the end of the week, temperatures will be warming up into tomorrow afternoon after a little bit of a chilly start in the 30s and 40s. But then into the weekend, we continue to see that warming trend with lows in the 80s, and that sunny and dry weather does look to stick around all throughout our 7-day forecast.
Tell me it's getting into the 80s. Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a
sunny summer weather is coming our way.
Yeah, perfect weekend on the beach.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Please come back and join us tomorrow night on Fox 49 News at 10.